Hey everybody, what's up? What's going on? Welcome back to True Mission Fitness. Today, my dad is going to be talking about bowling.
Thanks, Claire. All right, everybody. Thank you for joining True Ambition Fitness and welcome. Okay, so this video is about bowling. And as you guys know, or might not know if you're new to this channel, I have not always been blind. But this is a blind guy story time because I'm the blind guy telling the story. This is about when I was a kid. I'm going to be telling you a story from when I was about 11 years old. I'm also going to be telling you a story about my kids themselves. Okay, I have two daughters, and as you saw Claire. This happened about 3 years ago, 3.5 years ago. This first story, at least. I was at a playground with my kids, at a mall playground actually, and we were in Fresno, California, and I was on leave, spending some relaxation time with my wife, my kids. It was actually right around Valentine's Day. And I'm like, yeah, gonna go get some jewelry for my wife, gonna go get some other stuff for my wife. Okay, we'll just leave it at that. But hey, okay, so what ended up happening, I was sitting there watching my kids. My wife was off shopping for Valentine's Day gifts actually. And as I was watching my kids, I noticed that my youngest, who was actually only about 2.5, almost 3 at the time, she was playing on the playground. There's this it was like a cube, but on the edges, it had like slide things. So there was a boy on top, and my 2.5-year-old, almost 3-year-old was trying to get up to the top. And the boy just kept pushing her down. He was probably, I'm gonna guess, almost 5, somewhere around there, because he was a little bit bigger than her. I didn't intervene right away just because I wanted to see what would happen. I wanted to see what she would do, and I wanted to see what her older sister would do, because her older sister kind of noticed what was going on. After this happened about twice, Claire went over there and she's just like, "Don't be pushing my little sister, that's mean." And she just told the boy that. That was it. She's just like, "Don't do that." And he's just like, "Go away," and kind of pushed her away. Just pushed her shoulder a little, right? And her little sister went to go up. The little boy pushed her down again. The little boy thought this was a game. And it really isn't a game when you're pushing someone around. But these are kids, right? So I'm letting it happen just to see what's gonna happen. But I'm noticing that the little boy's mother, in her really nice dress, the stilettos, a tablet in this hand, a phone in this hand, her really nice purse, like Gucci, some Bravana, I don't know what the hell it was, but yeah, she's standing there doing her own little thing, and I'm watching what's happening. The thing that really kind of was getting on my nerves was this boy kept doing this over and over. Claire let him do it another 3 times. When she saw that he had pushed her again, and Charlie started crying this time, she proceeded to grab the boy by the shoulder and said, "Do not touch my sister." He said, "Go away," pushed her back. As he went to push her, Claire punched him. He fell down that same little slide thing that he was pushing her sister down, and Claire goes, "Come here, Charlie," grabs her by the hand and pulls her up the slide and lets her get up there. And as a father, I'm just like, yeah, that's my girl. But at the same time, you're thinking, oh shoot, was that the thing she was supposed to do? Well, if you ask me, yes. She went through the proper channels of first telling the boy, stop, intervening. She got up there and she was that mediator, She got up there and she's like, "Hey, please stop, don't do that to my sister." And the boy proceeded to push her away and do it again to her sister. So then, that moment in time, she should have told an adult. I think she noticed that I was watching, so she really didn't say anything. And she then proceeded to take care of the situation herself. Now, during any other time, I would not promote violence, but this boy needed to be put in his place. And it was hilarious because when he fell down to the bottom of this slide, all dramatic, because I don't think the kid had ever been punched before. I'm hoping he has never been punched before. And it's kind of funny because it was by a girl, but they're young and things happen, right? But the mother in her stilettos is all running up, all, "Are you okay?" to her son, and her son's just like, "The little girl hit me." She looks up at the little girl and she sees me standing next to her, giving her a high five. And she's just like, "Something happened?" I'm like, "Yeah, while you were over there on your cell phone and your tablet, your son was beating up on my little daughter here." And I was actually letting it happen just to see what would happen, because my daughter wasn't getting hurt, but I wanted to see what her bigger sister would do. She told your son to stop. Your son didn't stop. He did it another 3 times to my youngest daughter. He pushed her down the slide. And not in a joking manner. He was actually being forceful. So instead of you intervening, is what she said to me, I'm like, no, I just wanted to see what would happen. I wanted to see what her older sister would do. And she's like, well, my son is crying. Yeah, that's because my daughter punched him in the face because he pushed my youngest down the slide a little too hard, and not in a fun manner, not even in a kidding manner, not joking or anything. He was being a bully. My oldest intervened and punched your son. If you got a problem, you can talk to me about it. And she goes, well, and then at that moment in time, she got another text message, hold on. And she didn't really just hold on, she held on me with the tablet and proceeded to text. And I'm just like, wait, what? Okay, I thought we were having an escalating moment, and then nothing happened. Basically, she's like, well, never mind, just, she walked away with her son crying as she's dragging him along. I'm thinking, first, comfort your child, tell him what he did wrong, and, maybe try to dissolve the situation, dissect it, and show the kid exactly what he was doing wrong. And I will actually even maybe at that moment in time tell my daughter, hey, hitting him wasn't the right thing to do. Maybe you should have went about doing this, that, who knows. But she didn't do that. I left it as it was, gave my daughter that high five again, and let them play. In fact, at that moment in time, they had a fun time. It was a great day, because the next day, I believe, if I remember right, it was Valentine's Day. They spent a lot of time with Grandma and Grandpa. Mommy and Daddy went and had fun. We went on a double date with it was a good time. The moral of that story is, sometimes bullying, no, not sometimes, always bullying is bad. That's it. I don't care however you want to dissect it, however you want to see it. Yes, my daughter did punch him, which was not a good thing, but yet at the same time, violence might not be the best answer to a certain situation. In that case, if you ask me, it was. Okay, one more story for you guys, and this story is actually from when I was about 11 years old. I lived in a trailer park. I was the only white boy in this trailer park. I'm not going to get racial on this. If you guys want to put something out in the comments about it, go right ahead. But, okay, I was the only white boy in this trailer park. Everybody else was Hispanic. There was 2 African-American couples with their 4 kids there, all total. There was 3 in one family, 1 in the other, and then the rest were Hispanic. There were 64 trailer houses, and I was the only white boy in the trailer park. That's just how it worked. That's statistically, I don't know how it is, but hey, I was the only white kid. And I really wanted to play soccer with these 3 boys who were my age. 2 were 11, 1 was 12, and the only reason I know that is because 1 was always a year ahead of us in school and whatever. I know their names. I'm not going to say their names, but I wanted to play soccer with them. I wanted to hang out. I wanted to do this. I wanted to do that. I wanted to have friends. So I asked them if I could play soccer. At first they told me no, because they tried the whole, no, we have an even number, that would make it odd thing. And then I was thinking to myself, are we all going to school here? Because we know that's not true. And then they're like, oh, that's fine, come and play. And I played soccer with them. We got about 5 minutes in, and then there was a moment in time where one of the kids came and chopped me from behind, kicked me in the back of the legs. The ball, I did have the ball, I give him that. But then when I fell on the ground, instead of proceeding to kick the ball, he proceeded to kick me. And then the other 2 joined. And I'm like, I'm getting kicked, I start crying. They're like, oh, they stopped. How nice of them. Well, what ended up happening from that moment in time was we both all got up. I go to walk away. They're like, no, you keep playing. We thought you had the ball under you, and we didn't realize it got kicked away. Me being the innocent, stupid little boy that I was, mainly I'm gonna say innocent to it, because I was just like, I really wanted friends, I believed them. Well, I didn't really believe them. I knew they saw it in a way, but I wanted to be their friends. So I proceeded to play soccer with them, and they ended up putting me as goalie. And the goalie, the goal itself was in between, the one that I was at was in between a firing hydrant and a trailer house. That was the goal, and that's where they had to kick in between. Well, I went to dive, and I landed next to the firing hydrant, right? Well, I got up, and they're like, oh, good block. And then one got mad about it and kicked me in the back of the legs. Again, in the back of the leg. Ow. Well, when it happened, I fell and hit my head on the firing hydrant. I lost consciousness for I don't know how long. All I know is I'm waking up, and there are 3 boys urinating on me, taking a piss. They whipped it straight out and just started going to town. I freaked out. I'm getting pissed on. I reach up, I grab, and I did a grab, tug, swing thing. Hit that junk, whoever it was. I don't really remember. I believe it was the oldest, the one that I got. His brother stayed with him while I took off running. The other one chased me, kicked me down. I went across the cement. It hurt. But so much adrenaline, so much everything going on, I took off, ran back to my house. As I'm getting to my door, the other guy caught back up again, and I'm shutting it right in their face. My mom kind of heard everything happening. I'm jumping in the shower. I'm all scuffed up, bloody, peed on, and throwing my clothes off. My mom's like, what's going on? And at that moment in time, I still didn't even tell her. That's the bad part. I was embarrassed. Not that I was getting beat up on. I think it was more that I thought they were my friends. I thought these boys who are my age. I was like, yeah, I'm getting friends. I wasn't. In fact, they were just using me for their own stupid pleasures. And the funny part is, later on, I ended up being one of the trainers at the gym and basically pushing him a little bit harder than I should have. I hold a little grudge, and he was sore for a couple of weeks. But I just think it's funny because I look the way I do now, and one had to come to me and it was just kind of a switching of roles, But bullying should never happen. I'm just telling you a story that happened to me. I was bullied a lot as a child. One, because it might have been a race thing sometimes, and also there was I was overweight. I always got made fun of because of that. I got verbal bullying, physical bullying. It was all, I got the whole spectrum. And the biggest thing I want to throw out there is it does hurt. Remember that, everybody. If you ever see anybody getting bullied, whether you're an adult or whether you're a kid, remember that person might need some help. You might need to be that mediator, that person who intervenes and might stop it. You might actually stop it for good. You never know. You might just get in there and be like, hey, and kind of turn a little switch in that kid's head or person's head. Bullying is not only a thing that kids do, it's also something that adults do too. Remember that. Next time, you see that little guy at the gym and you're giving him, laughing at him, making fun of him, that isn't cool. Remember at one time you might have been there, or even if you weren't there, there are people who struggle with certain things, and your job isn't there to point fingers. In fact, you might want to be their rock, help them out. Remember, everybody has feelings. Put yourself in their shoes. Would you like to be pushed around, peed on, pushed down a slide? Just think about that next time, okay? If you see it, please intervene. I'm not telling you to get physical. Do not get physical. First, always try a verbal confrontation first. It's usually the best way to go, and if you have to, call the authorities. Or if you're a kid, an adult, get an adult to intervene. Usually once you bring that into there, hey, things are resolved. But hey, hopefully you guys liked this video. If you did, go ahead and hit that like button. Also go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Please do so. If you guys didn't know, I'm also on social media. I also have an Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and I Periscope almost daily. I haven't recently for the past almost a month. Only reason is, well, I shattered my iPhone. I stepped on it. Got to get a new one. Once I get it, I'll be sure to upload videos daily, especially on Periscope. I'll be back to weekly here on YouTube. And hey, go out there, everybody. Have a wonderful day. Please, no bullying. Go out there. Be ambitious. I'll catch you guys next time. Later.